Hello everyone and welcome to a very interesting review. Today we have, I did actually have to look into this figure a bit because I was unsure about his origins, but we have Transformers Star Raider or Decepticon Ferak. Now, this character you may see as a very big outlier to all my other reviews because my other reviews have been either G1 based or slightly film based. So I've been mainly sticking with the film Transform media, but this guy is actually from the comics. So Ferak here, if any of you are familiar with the Transformers at all, you might recognize this guy as being a Cyclonus clone, which Cyclonus was one of, I guess, Unicron's servants slash Galvatron's armada. It's an interesting story, but anyways. Here we have Ferak, which color scheme, I will say, if we're comparing him to Cyclonus, I actually quite like this color scheme they've gone for. The red, the grey, and the black, I really like. Well, like dark grey, but you know. I quite like it. I will say the only thing is that his face is kind of strange being all like red, but it's cool. So, very cool. And when it comes to insignias on this guy, he actually only has this one here on his arm, which is the Star Raider insignia from what I've seen. But I think that's all for sculpt. Actually, I forgot to get my signature of taking off all the accessories. Well, there you go. You guys have seen him with his accessories on his wings, but I'll talk about those later. For now, let's get into articulation. So here at the head, you can do look down that far, look up that far, and then you can do a full 360 spin. Even though you saw that little bit at the back, he has no see-through eyes or anything. That's just, I don't know, grey piece there, because why not? Then we come to the arms. You can do a full 360 spin since his wing here moves with his arm. And he's, you know, just showing off his bicep swivel real quick. That can move up there, 90-degree elbow joint. And can swivel out to the side about 90 degrees, just because that does collide with the back kibble. Then we come down to his lower waist. We're just getting a bit of T-pose here. His waist does swivel. Well, it's not actually his waist that's swiveling here, it's his crotch. It's doing a bit of a swivel there. You know, making sure he can do plenty of poses. And now we come down to the knees. Well, actually, no, not the knees first, the legs. Kick out about 90 degrees, kick back 90 degrees. Outward, 90 degrees. Pretty basic leg movement. Still good though, and no waist cape on this guy, which is kind of nice. But we come down to the knees again, which I want to talk about. Due to transformation, his knees are really weird. They can move inward, outward, because he's got a little bit of movement here. So there you go. Oh, so that if I just hold that in place, you can see how that bit moves on its own. But then there's a bit in there as well that also moves because his leg is supposed to be more like that. And you can end up with a lopsided Ferak if you're not careful. Like I've got both feet straight, but this one's longer just because this one's more sunken in. So we just try and get them lined up. That's probably going to be as good as I can do on camera for you here. But for leg movement though, due to that, he's got a pretty good knee bend for the back and a pretty good knee bend for the front. So that's alright. Just a little over 90 degrees to the back bend. Now if we get to his ankle pivot, he does surprisingly have one. When you look at this figure, you might think, oh yeah, no ankle pivot. He does have one. Not very strong of an ankle pivot, but he's got one. So that's good. Now we move on to accessories for Ferak, which I'll show you the ones that you've already seen. We get two little blasters, which you can give them to him in his hands here, which you know, if that's your style, you can have him there, dual wielding those blasters, going crazy. Or, as advertised on the box, and as most Cyclonus type characters do, you get these holes here, the big rectangle one, this large one here. You get that one, and on the wing here, there's that little bit there, and you slide that in, nice and stable, and there you go. Do the exact same step for the other wing, and you have yourself a Ferak ready to go. So this is how, you know, he's supposed to be in base form. But now we grab his other accessory, which I will talk about quite a bit, because this is a big blaster. Like, this blaster is, it's huge. Like, it's a really big blaster for a nice figure, but it is just one paint. I don't think it is a paint. It's just been sculpted like this. It's just the plastic, which I think is a real letdown. Now, I did try looking up images of Ferak with his blaster to see if maybe this is just how it looks, but it's unfortunately not. Well, Ferak, I haven't really seen much of him with a blaster from the IDW comics, but, you know, here, it's just kind of disappointing. Like, this guy, he was around 60 bucks, 60, 70 bucks here in Australia. So it's just like, for 60 bucks, like, yeah, you get 3 accessories, 2 of them technically being a part of, like, the actual figure's body. And then you get this, and it's kind of like, well, come on, you could have done this, like, black, or you couldn't have at least splash a different color in there somewhere, even for the handle or something, but I don't know, maybe I'm expecting too much. But giving it to this figure, he does have quite a high little part there, so it just nicely sits in there, allowing for him to blast down some Autobots or whoever he's fighting. Again, I'm not too familiar with, like, comics and stuff. I'm more of a G1 and show guy, so I don't know what the Star Raiders really do. I will actually quickly mention while I see it, he does actually have a clear piece there on his stomach, which is kind of nice. Gives me some Unicron sort of feels there. But anyways, that is pretty much all for the robot mode, so we'll head into transformation, and then we'll get into final thoughts. Okay, coming here to the jet mode. Here we have a type of Cybertronian jet. Again, it's pretty much just taken straight from Cyclonus. But really cool, would like to mention first off, he has landing gear. So you can have him standing up there nicely like that. And it does all fold away. These ones at the back are a bit stiff, by the way, so just careful of that. Still sit him down without the landing gear, but I think it's just a nice touch. And then talking about the actual model here, it looks really nice. These windscreens are all clear and reflective, so that's quite cool. And I honestly think it's one of the better, sleeker jets. We do have the upcoming aerial bots, which we will review brand new on here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But so we'll see how they go when it comes to being nice and compact. But this guy has, like, pretty much 0 undercarriage, so that's nice. At the back here, I haven't done this with a couple of my past figures, but I'm going to quickly do this now. Blast effects, compatible with this guy in both those ones and in that one on the side. So that's always nice. If you have 4 blast effects, you can have him really taken off. You can also plug it at the top here, but that plug is for something else. It's for the gun. My, you know, the very unpainted gun. You chuck it in there, and there you go. You know, very heavily armed, ready to kill some Autobots. Well, destroy, sorry, you know. There you are. Shooting them. So that's pretty cool. I like how the blast effect does nicely just sit on all these, and it's not too loose. Like, if you shake it around enough, it will fall off, but, you know. That kid might do that, but if you're a collector like me, he's probably just gonna sit there looking pretty. So, it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, I will say I was really surprised with how much I like this this model. And I will quickly mention here, just at the front here, if the camera wants to focus on that, there you are. There is a little bit of what looks to be paint chip, but hopefully that's just a little bit of painting error. But you never know. Worth pointing out with this figure. This bit does fold up into the nose here, so maybe it does have a bit of paint chip. Overall, the transformation of this guy is actually really impressive. And again, if you want to see transformations for characters, I can do little short videos for each one of them. Just let me know down in the comments. Or maybe one day I'll do a poll for it or something, I don't know, we'll see. But I think that kind of concludes the alt mode. I don't really have too much more to talk about it. And so I'll probably see you guys for my final thoughts. Alright. Coming to the final thoughts of the video, I've just got him still in his jet mode again, nice compact, love the jet mode. Now this figure is one that you probably, I believe, still can find in stores right now. So, should you pick him up? Well, it depends on multiple things. Are you actually a fan of the character Ferak? If so, definitely worth the pickup. He's really good, really nice model. If you're just buying him to have a Cyclonus until an 86 one comes out, maybe hold off because it will be the 40th anniversary of the 86 movie next year. And we already have 86 Galvatron, and Galvatron needs himself Cyclonus, so he will inevitably be coming out soon. But I'd say though, Ferak, color-wise, I probably prefer him over Cyclonus. I like this one. And at the end of the day, Trans was supposed to be robots in disguise. I feel like a nice grey and black sort of jet makes a better disguise rather than, you know, dark purple. But again, at the end of the day, it's completely up to you. This guy sent me back around $60 to $70. I think I got him just from like a JB Hi-Fi somewhere. So I'd say most of him is worth it. Again, the only thing that really lets him down is his blaster here. If this was painted, I'd say great figure. Like, picking this guy up is quite worth it if that was painted. But it's not, so it's more of a, if you really want this sort of mold, like if you want a Cyclonus mold, if you like the character Ferak, or if you just, I don't know, want to collect them all, I'd say he is worth the pickup. I don't really see how they can get any better with the Cyclonus mold. Maybe when in robot mode, if they can make these wings somehow less chaotic or make them more posable, so that way when he moves his arm, they don't have to move with him. But, you know, that's all stuff that might be engineered in the future. We'll have to see when they eventually release an 86 Galvatron Cyclonus. But until then, this is not a bad figure to own. So that'll wrap up this review for now. And until next time, I'll see you all in the next video.